done piping. Okay, we are done piping the dress, so we'll be putting press buttons on the plackets. Okay, so now we want to go over to the sleeve, and for the sleeve I've already cut out my sleeve pattern. So the sleeve pattern I used my pattern to cut this sleeve, and the length of this sleeve is at the bicep. The bicep is 9, and I added 1.5 inch to sew up and down. Okay, so that is the sleeve. So now we are going to have ruffles on the sleeve as well. So the ruffles, I measured what I have on the bicep. I measured the length of my bicep, okay, from one end to the other, times 2.5. so this is the ruffle, and I'm going to go over my machine to make gathers to it. So I have them 2 of it, and the width of this ruffle is 3 inches. So from here to here is 3 inches, as you can see. So by the time I sew 0.5, I will have 2.5 inches. So this is that for the ruffle. We have our elastic. Okay, so we are going to sew the elastic on our organza fabric. So the organza fabric, because we actually want to give it that puff look as it is on the thumbnail. So here I'm making use of organza unfold. Okay, so unfold I have 14 inches. Can you see that? So the length of this is also my biceps times 3. I did times 3. The length is times 3 of my bicep, and the height is 14 inches. So I placed it on fold and I cut 2 of it. So I'll go over now to start to make my gathers. I'm making my gathers on the open end of my organza fabric. So I'll quickly go. I'll run my gathers here. Okay, but before I take my gathers, I'm going to also sew my casing. I'm going to sew my casing. So what I will do is to run my gathers first, sew my elastic casing. So my elastic casing, I'm going to sew my casing at exactly 0.5. It needs to be tight at that point. So I'm going to sew. So I'll sew my gathers, sew my casing, make my ruffles, and then I'll be back to show you how to make them. Alright, so now I'm done gathering. Okay, this is my organza. I have to gather, as you can see. Okay, so now I also made my elastic casing. Can you see that? At 0.5, I made my elastic casing at the folded point. So I just go into and gather more. I'm going to gather it back to what we have on the sleeve. Okay, so I just make my gather, bring them closer to exactly what we have on the bicep. So this is my sleeve bicep. So I'm going to gather everything on this organza to meet up with what I have on the sleeve, and I'm going to sew it right here on the bicep. So the ruffle, I have also gathered the ruffle. Okay, so I'll gather more of the ruffle. I will pick up my thread and I'll gather a little more. So I'm going to gather and sew into here. So I just want to show you what I did right here. This is exactly what I have. Okay, so I've closed up the sleeve, the side of the sleeve. So I'm going to turn it around to the front. So this is what we are making exactly, as you can see right here. Okay, so I'll be using the other sleeve to show you how I achieved that. So this is it. As you can see, these are the ruffles on the puff balloon sleeve with elastic. I've already put my elastic. Okay, so by the time you wear this dress, okay, let me take for an example. I put it in my arm. Can you see that? So once I wear this dress, I push it up to the elbow as it is on the thumbnail. You can see how beautiful is actually looking right here. I really love this sleeve, as you can see. So that is how to go about it. So now I'm going to show you how you will achieve this now. So the first thing we want to do, this is the basic sleeve which we cut, I'm going to place my ruffle. So I'll go into my machine now. I'm going to sew this ruffle here first. I'll sew it. I'll come back to show you what next to do. So now I've sewn in the ruffles. I placed it right side to right side and I stitched at 0.5. So this is it. So I'm going to sew my organza. Okay, I'm going to gather my organza more. I'll just take my time to push in the gathers. Okay, I'll make more gathers to it, and I'll also place it like this to sew. I'm sewing on top of it. So let me gather and sew on top. I'll also show you what it looks like. All right, people, so I'm done gathering. So I've gathered the organza right on top of what I have. Can you see? So I'll take it back, and then I'm going to talk about the hem, what we have on the hem. Remember, we made a casing, elastic casing. So I come in with my elastic right now, and I have my safety pin, which I'm going to use to impute it. So I'm taking the measurement of where this is going to be, and this is exactly where it's going to be at 3/4. So you have to take the measurement very firmly. Can you see? So here I have 12 inches. So I'm going to cut it exactly at 12 inches. So by the time we sew off 1 inch, okay, because it's not supposed to be loose. Your elastic is not supposed to be loose. It's supposed to be right on the sleeve. So I'm cutting 12 inches, as you can see. So this is my 12 inches. So when you are measuring this, don't stretch it. Okay, please don't stretch it. Just take it the way it is. So I've taken it the way it is now, and I'll cut. I'll push in my safety pin, and I'll push it into the casing. I'm pushing right into the casing now. So this is it. Okay, I'll keep pushing it right into the casing. So what I'm actually doing here, I want to get this elastic to push it in, and I'm going to hold it down with my pin so it does not snip into the casing. So I'm going to run a top stitch right here. I'll run it right now, then I'll continue pushing this till I get to the end of it. I'll also run a top stitch and hold it. I'll do that and bring it back for you. All right, lovely people, so we are done with this sleeve. I've pushed in my elastic casing, so it has already made the elastic band for me. Okay, so now I'm going to kiss right side to right side to close up my sleeve, and I'm going to sew exactly at 1 inch seam allowance, which I added. So I'll start sewing from the elastic. Okay, I'll make the elastic together. I'll sew off at 1 inch. Once I get here, I'll place it this way, that way, match them and sew. So I'll quickly do that, and we'll sew this to the kaftan right now. All right, so I've closed up the sides right now. Okay, so I'm going to serge the rough edges. So this is it, and we are done. So I'll just turn the sleeve to the right side. So this is the right side of the sleeve, and you can see what we have right there, the ruffles on top of the balloon, as you can see. So once it goes up, it gives us that pop look. So when I cut this sleeve, I made a mark for the part that will be at the front. You can see I made a notch. That is my front sleeve. Okay, So this sleeve is going to be on the front. I'm coming in with my kaftan dress now, and I'm going to sew this sleeve into it as it is. Okay, so to do that, I'll open up, turn to the wrong side. Okay, I'll bring in this sleeve and push it in. So that is how to sew your sleeve. This is the shoulder seam line. I'm going to find a notch I made a notch on the sleeve head. So you have to make your notch and be sure you have your sleeve head matching up accordingly. Then the armhole, I'll also open up my seams on the armhole, and I'll bring in the armhole of the dress. Okay, I'll open up the armhole, match armhole to armhole. So once I've matched, I'll start taking my matching up the sleeves with my pin all around. So I'll just do that and go over to the machine and run around stitches. I'm going to do that for the both sleeve, then I'll bring it back to show you the final outline. All right, people, so I'm done sewing in the sleeve right now. So this is it, and you can see how beautiful it's looking with a placket. So you can make this beautiful dress and wear it, you know, and all that. All right, people, so that is how we come to the end of this tutorial. I believe you learned a lot from this tutorial. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming, and see you in the next one. Bye.